Hello, whiskey hunters. Whiskey Hunter back with you. I think today I'm going to change it up a little bit, and instead of talking about a chase first, I'm going to do a review first and spend a little more time with that. And I'm going to review one of my favorite whiskeys, Highland Park. This is an independent bottling. Oops, I'm going to get this now. Of Signatory Highland Park 25-year, bottled in distilled in 1988, bottled in 2013. You can see I'm about done with this bottle, but I have no fear because when I tasted this, I got a couple more bottles. So we've got a few in the bunker. Don't want to run out of this stuff. It's hard to find today. Like I said, it came out in 2013, and this is bottle 74 and 75, and I have 76 of 216 for this cask. So let's look at the color of this. We've got a dark gold, beautiful color. This is natural colored, non-chill filtered. If we roll this around, we can take a look at the legs of this. It's probably hard to pick up. Oh, maybe you can. The legs take a long time to form, as do most older aged whiskeys. And they're still forming and they're not dropping yet. It's a very viscous and thick dram onto the nose. It's got the typical heather peat that almost all Highland Parks have. It's kind of their signature aromatic. It's a sweet smoke. It's not heavy peat like an Isla. Along with that, I'm really not getting much in the way of sherry. That is because it's 100% malted barley mash bill. But you get, of course, being 100% malted barley, you get a lot of malt, sweet malt in the nose. Additionally, you pick up fruits, orchard fruits, apples, peaches, things like that. And almonds. You pick up almonds. It's a complex dram, and you could nose this a long time. To the taste. It's very prickly on the mouth, and I like that about most Highland Parks. The ABV on this is 50.7, but I mean, you don't, it's not alcohol forward, it just dances on your tongue. I get the heather smoke, the sweet smoke. You ever have, at Halloween here in the USA, you'll find occasionally caramel apple candy corn. It's, your typical candy corn candy, but they do caramel apple. That's kind of what I get from this. The sweet candy corn kind of taste, but you get a lot of the apples and the caramel. You get toffee with this. You get the fruits. Again, there's no sherry that I'm tasting on this. Another taste. The first taste just coats your mouth and introduces you to the whiskey. It really takes the second mouthful to taste it properly. Wow. Peaches, melons, pears. Have you ever dipped apples in caramel sauce? That's what you get. Like honey and caramel on top of the apples. Sweet malt that you've got in the nose is there. It's coating like custard on your mouth. I get vanilla bean ice cream. Not vanilla ice cream, vanilla bean ice cream. You get the nuts, the almonds with it. It's sort of malty like a soda fountain, old soda fountain shake malt that you'd get at those old restaurants. It's very creamy. It's a great mouthfeel. Makes your mouth water and water. One more sip. Oh, it's just coating that glass. I mean, the tears are still running down from this. That's how slow they are. That malt and that honey linger on the finish. It's really good. Your mouth continues to water from it. This is a great dram. It's unlike the official bottling of the Highland Park 25. This isn't quite as chewy as the official bottling, but it's very, very good. I think at the time, this bottle that I got these bottles a couple years ago may have been about $270, $260. I don't know if you can really find them anymore. So Highland Park 25 year. So the chase. So I'm going to go back to another Craigslist story. I've gotten a lot of bottles on Craigslist. This is again a few years ago. You know, I said in another vlog that that there were a lot more bottles back a couple years ago before people were into whiskey, but not like they are now. So this guy was running an ad for multiple bottles on Craigslist, and they were kind of eclectic bottles, not really mainstream bottles. And unless you're into whiskey, you know, even if you're not into whiskey, you've heard of Macallan, you've heard of Highland Park, you've heard of some of these other distillers. But if you're not, then you wouldn't know a number of these. But I knew who they were. So we talked for a week or two, and he wasn't getting much bite to his ad, especially because they were not your highly publicized bottles. So after talking a week or two, I could sense his urgency to get rid of these bottles. He was a producer and had run on some hard times. And, you know, I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody. I'm trying to help him help himself and get him some money for some of these bottles. So we negotiated. I'll talk about that when I'm done, but I want to go over some of these bottles. Second. So the first bottle of the group is a Gordon and MacPhail, great bottler. This is a Glen Keith. It's a Speyside. It's owned by Chevis Brothers. It was opened in 1958, this distillery. It's a 13-year. The bottling, it was distilled in 93 and bottled in 2010. Glen Keith was mothballed in 1999 and then reopened in 2012. And most of the whiskey went towards Chevis Brothers and Chevis Regal blends. But they came out with some individual bottlings, and this was one of them. So that's the first bottle in the group. The next bottle is a Linlithgow St. Magdalene. This is a 1982 distilled 2000 bottling 18-year-old. St. Magdalene closed in 1993. It's a lowland. When it was, well, it wasn't ripped down, but it was converted to apartments. That's what that distiller is now, apartment buildings. When it opened well, they opened in 1834, but when they moved to that site they opened in 1798. When they moved to the site in 1834, just before it was a leper colony. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the taste of this juice, but that's what it was. They've since been closed a long time. So great bottle, hard to find, not your everyday bottle. St. Magdalene isn't really known by a lot of people, let alone Linlithgow. The next bottle is another Gordon and MacPhail, Glenmore. This Glenmore is distilled in 1980, bottled in 2011. It's a 31-year-old expression. Glenmore opened in 1982, and it shut down in 1983. It's a closed distillery. It's a Highland. It was located in Inverness. Glenmore never released an official bottling. It's kind of like a lost distillery. The distiller was demolished in 1988. It's no longer in existence. This is not an everyday bottle. It's old expression, and that was his third bottle that I got from him. I met this guy, by the way. We met at a mall in front of a real busy shopping mall on the second floor next to the theater there, at a table at some food court. And he had all these bottles in a couple grocery bags. The next bottle I have is in this beautiful box. It's another Gordon and MacPhail. It's their rare old collection. It's another St. Magdalene. Let's open this up. It's distilled in 1982 and bottled in 2013. It's a 31-year-old lowland. I told you about the distiller. This is a hard-to-find bottle. That was his fourth bottle in the series he had. And he had one more bottle for me. Let's put that away. This is the most bottles I gotten at one time when I was out hunting. And our last bottle is another Scots collection. It's a North of Scotland, 1964 distilled, 2009 bottling, 45-year Speyside. They're all grain whiskeys. North of Scotland was founded in 1957, and from 1960 until they closed in 1980, it was all grain whiskey. They dismantled the distiller in 1993. For 1 year, they produced Strathmore whiskey. You may have heard of that. And it was only sold for blends. So I don't think there's any bottlings. You can find a Strathmore anywhere. So that's it. That's the 5 bottles I got from the producer that was running on Hard Times. And I tried to call him to see if he had any more bottles a month or two after, but his phone was disconnected. And all of these bottles, if I recollect correctly, were around $500 or $600 for everything. And so at the time I was going, do I really want to spend that much money at one time? And, of course, you regret what you don't buy, not what you do. And I'm glad I bought them and they're in my collection. So that's it from the Whiskey Hunter today. I appreciate you joining me. Please subscribe. You can find me on Instagram at the Whiskey Hunter. And you can also find my blog at thewhiskeyhunter.net. There's no E in whiskey. And there you can see more pictures and other stories and my thoughts on various things. Again, I appreciate it. Subscribe, tell your friends. Come on back next time. We'll see you.